The pirate ship Mantleboard set had space for 1 million of the capsules it used for raiding other spacecrafts. The hangar had 100 levels, and each level divided into a grid of parking spaces 100 by 100. This did not mean that there were capsules to fill all the parking spaces. The Badgers expected to lose at least a few on any given raid, and over the years they'd taken part in several thousand raids. Though they replaced the capsules when they could, there were still various parking spaces dotted around the hangar 100's floors. And into one of these was a rasping, grating sound, as if the very fabric of space and time was being torn through, materialized the TARDIS. The door of the TARDIS creaked open, and out stepped Miss Wingsworth. "Oh, honestly, dear," she said, "it's like something died in here." The doctor followed her out, sniffing the air. "Well, that's car parks for you," he said, "although given where we are, it's likely something did." "Oi!" shouted a gruff voice from behind the rows of pirate capsules. Two Badger pirates came running forward, with their guns at the ready. The doctor turned to Miss Wingsworth and winked. He had the first string of a plan. "Hello," he said to the two Badgers cheerily. "I'm the doctor, and this is Miss Wingsworth. We've got an appointment with your captain." The two Badgers skidded to a halt and looked nervously at one another. "You got a what?" one of them asked the doctor. "An appointment," he said. "Brought it from the Brilliant for her. She's be livid if I don't get it." The Badgers whispered to one another, obviously terrified of what would happen if they upset the captain, Florence. And he could see them thinking, no one would really be stupid enough to go see the captain if they didn't have to. "Okay," one of them said. "You come with us." "It'd be our pleasure," said the doctor, wanted Miss Wingsworth. "Certainly, dear," she said. She hung a tentacle through the doctor's profiled elbow, and then followed the two Badgers as if they were on a night out to the opera. "I'm sorry," said the doctor, as they made their way between the hundreds of pirate capsules towards the lift. "I didn't catch your names." "Carl," said one of the Badgers, "and that's Robbie. We're on duty." "And you're very professional about it," said the doctor. "I'll be telling your captain how impressed we are with you." Carl and Robbie grinned at one another and quickened their pace towards the lift. The lift itself, when it came, was big enough to fit 2 or 3 pirate capsules into, which was probably useful for getting things repaired. Thought the doctor. Before stepping inside, he turned to the two Badgers. "Well," he said, "you two have been extremely kind. Miss Wingsworth and I are both very touched." "It'd be simply splendid," agreed Miss Wingsworth, perhaps enjoying the act a bit too much. "But we mustn't detain you any longer," said the doctor. "You must get back to your duties." Said Robbie. "We, don't come with you?" "Oh, no," said the doctor, appalled at the very idea. "You're on duty." "What would your captain say?" The two Badgers stepped quickly back from the lift. The doctor worked the controls, and the lift went up and down, and could also go sideways, so it took the doctor almost 2 whole seconds to work out how to get them to the bridge. He keyed the instructions in, and with a ding, the lift doors began to close. Miss Wingsworth waved politely at Carl and Robbie. When the lift doors had closed, the lift was on its way, and Miss Wingsworth let out a long sigh. "Well," she said, "I never thought we'd get away with it." "Oh, it's easy enough," said the doctor. "I do this all the time." "What, just walking into alien pirate ships? As if you own the place?" laughed Miss Wingsworth. "Oh yeah," said the doctor. "It's like a hobby." Miss Wingsworth laughed, and then they laughed, tailed off, and became more like she was choking. The doctor realized she was forcing herself not to cry. "Sorry," said the doctor. "Forgot how this sort of thing can take a bit of getting used to." "Oh no," wailed Miss Wingsworth. "It's been amazing, dear, and I never felt more alive. The first time they killed me, I was absolutely terrified. It didn't matter after that, and I watched your friend Martha die. She didn't have a gun like they did. She stood up to them. She used her brain and tried to get Archibald one drunk." The doctor laughed. "One trick mind, that one." He said, "You can tell she's from London." "I don't understand," said Miss Wingsworth desperately. I've never stood up to anyone before." She hung her head sadly, like how could I even look at her now? "Ah," said the doctor. "You've got a big family, haven't you, Miss Wingsworth?" She looked up from him surprised. Whatever they got to do with any of this, dear, she said. You talk about them all the time, he told her. Your cousin who did this, your uncle who did that. There's nothing wrong with being proud of your lineage, she said. But you never tell stories about things you've done yourself, he said. Oh, she said. Well, she scuffled awkwardly, stroking her tentacles together. Suppose that's because I don't have very much to tell you. The doctor smiled at her. I guess not, he said. There's not really anything exciting about how you stood up to one of the pirates or how you got killed once or twice. Or teaching Dashiell how to say please and thank you. Miss Wingsworth shivered. They killed him, she said. I saw his body. I'm sorry, said the doctor kindly. If I had won him over, said Miss Wingsworth, he'd have been a poor badger. So the doctor finished for her. It showed him a better life, and that's what he died for. Miss Wingsworth sniffed. I suppose. So, said the doctor, you've got stories to tell your clever family when you get back to them. Oh, she said, I don't expect they'll be very interested, dear. They never were in me. That's why I was on the Brilliant, you see, she added nervously. It wasn't a war I was running away from. The doctor took one of her tentacles in his hands and calming her. You should be very proud of all you've done. Here, he said. Oh, I am, she said, snatching her tentacle from him. It's just they would never think so, because they never do. Her eyes opened wide at the sudden revelation, because, she said more quietly, they just aren't worth the bother. You don't pick your family, said the doctor, trust me. It's an achievement just to survive them sometimes. Miss Wingsworth laughed, a very deep, bubbly rumble rather than a high, sarcastic tinkle that she had used before. When laughing at other people's failings, all right, she said, slapping the tentacles against the doctor's shoulder in a manner most unseemly for a Blarman of her age. No more feeling sorry for myself and sulking in the corner. And they can either like it or lump it. You go, girl, said the doctor. Believe me, doctor, I intend to, said Miss Winkworth. Now, let's sort out the wretched pirate captain, shall we? And with a ding, the lift arrived at the bridge of the pirate ship. The doors each opened to reveal a passageway of hanging silks, behind which badgers worked controls. The air was rich with exotic spices, flavors from all over the cosmos. It was a sign of just how widely traveled the badger pirates were. Miss Wingsworth took the doctor's elbow, again acting as if they were honored guests. They stepped forward at the end of the passageway, and could see Archibald and Jocelyn held captive by their former badger comrades. And down some steps Martha and the furious pirate captain gazed out of the wide bay window at the Starship Brilliant. The doctor and Miss Wingsworth were just in time to see a beam of blinding light strike the Brilliant and blast it into pieces. No, yelled Martha to the pirate captain, you killed the doctor. Said the doctor, actually she missed. The badgers wheeled around, astonished at the intrusion. Sorry to butt in, said the doctor, skipping down the steps to join them in front of the great bay window. He waved at Archibald and Jocelyn and winked at Martha. But we saw the light on and thought we'd just pop on in. And danger of a cup of tea. Are some of those cheese and pineapples on sticks? I said Archibald, straining from the badgers who held him captive and told of his former comrades. I said they were good. You're all right? Said the doctor. Asked Martha. Yeah, she said. Fine. Getting a bit bored of all this, to be honest. Oh dear, said the doctor. Well, don't worry. I have it all fixed in a jiffy. He turned to the tall badger captain in the collarless blouse and eye patch. She was tall for one of the badgers. Her head high-heeled boots, meaning she could look at the doctor straight in the eye. Hello there, he said. You must be Captain Florence. Nice to meet you. Captain Florence roared. The next thing the doctor knew, he was getting on his back across the floor with the impression of a hairy fist across his face. Ow, he said. Beside him laid another badger pirate who clearly suffered a similar rebuke from the captain. Now really, uttered Miss Wingsworth, from where she stood by Martha, there's no need for that sort of behavior. Captain Florence slapped her hard across the face. Miss Wingsworth cowered under the blow, her tentacles raised to protect herself from being hit again. This ain't fun and games, the captain roared. She looked up at the badger who emerged from the silk hangers so not to miss seeing the fighting. "Amelia," she barked. "Samuel, find out how these two got aboard." The two Badger pirates scurried back to the controls. The doctor slowly picked himself up off the floor. "There really is no need to be like this," he said. "I just want to chat." "You got some to offer us, have you?" leered Captain Florence. "Better life than you got at this moment," said Miss Wingsworth. "The canopy and tea," added Archibald, turning to the Badgers holding him and Jocelyn prisoner. "You gotta try 'em," he said. "They're real good." Yeah," said the doctor. He stepped up to Captain Florence, thought just to reach out of her punching him again. "I'm disappointed you've not already listened to your friend Archie." Archibald bowed his head. "I tried telling him," he said. "Oh, I'm not blaming you, Archie," said the doctor kindly. "It's just a shame you, management, aren't open to suggestions. Not looking for new investment opportunities to expand the business portfolio doesn't say much for a long-term prospect, if you ask me." Captain Florence pulled her gun from her belt and round her waist. The doctor tutted at her. "Oh yes," he said. "That's a solution to everything, isn't it?" But the captain didn't shoot him. Instead, she shot Miss Wingsworth. She didn't scream or cry out, and the pink light ate her up. She kept staring defiantly at the captain. Captain Florence stepped back at the corpse collapsed to the floor. In front of her, she looked a little shaken. "Right," she said, pointing the gun now at Martha. "Captain," called one of the Badgers from behind the hanging silks. "Carl and Robbie have got the capsules what them two just arrived in." "Good," said Captain Florence. "Dump it into space and use it for target practice." The Badgers cheered. Target practice was clearly a bit of a treat. Dr. Poe's heart heaved. He couldn't believe that their guns could destroy the TARDIS, but he didn't like the idea of being sent tumbling off through space without him. "Right," said Captain Florence. "Archie, you better tell us what you so good about the canopy stuff." Archibald wrenched free of the Badgers holding him captive and came forward. He grinned at the doctor and Martha and then turned on his heels back to the Captain Florence. Instead, he addressed his former comrades. "Yeah," he said. "They had this food on the Brilliant," he told them. "It was small, but there was lots. And you ate it and it was just close your eyes and there was more. It was good. And food ain't what it good to eat. It had flavor in it, really." "Very eloquent," said the doctor. "Very stirring. You should go into politics or something." "Yeah," said Archie. He turned around to face Captain Florence. And perhaps because the doctor and Martha were there, perhaps just because he had shown a better life, he didn't look at all fearful of her. "It's good, I told her." "It may be," she said to him quietly. It looked like she was really considered what he said, but there's a problem, isn't there? Behind her, through the bay window, a teeny shape of the TARDIS tumbled helplessly through space. Beams of blinding light struck it from the pirate ship. "What problem?" said Archibald. "We've blown up the Brilliant," said Captain Florence, "so there ain't no more good food for you." "Oh yeah," suggested Archibald. He turned to the doctor, who looked about to say something, but instead he screamed out as pink light engulfed him. Captain Florence shot him in the back.